I think I'm almost there. It's looking, oh, can you see that? Look at the consistency now. It's almost perfectly blended and smooth. That's what we're looking for. Home stretch. All right, now once you have just about blended your marshmallow and butter mixture completely, here's that final kick, that final sweet kick, if you will. Just about a teaspoon of vanilla. That adds an extra little sweetness touch. You're going to add that, and then we're going to mix that in. Make sure that that vanilla gets mixed in completely. Now remember, we're still at a medium-high heat. All of these ingredients should blend smoothly, not at too high of a temperature because they can burn, and then you don't get the flavor you want. So there's our, oh, that's even better. Wow, that vanilla smells great. All right, so we've got our vanilla blended in. Now comes the holiday touch. We're going to turn our mixture green. Now, the level of green, really up to you. I like a really deep green to my Christmas wreaths. I would say about, let's start out with about a teaspoon. Just about a teaspoon of green food coloring. By the way, just a tip, if you want even darker green, you can add a little blue to the green food coloring, and that gives you an even darker color. Now, always start slow and then add. You can add more food coloring, but you can't take it out if it's too green for you. So, good rule of thumb, start with about, just about a teaspoon, and then if you find it's not green enough, add more. Okay, you can see my mixture is coming together, and you know what I think? I think I'm going to do a little more green. Just a drop. Perfect. All right, so now I'm mixing in my food. Oh, that's what I wanted. That's the perfect green. That's a holiday green for sure. Mixing our marshmallows, mixing our vanilla, mixing that butter, and the final touch is our food coloring. Look at the color. Isn't that great? Fantastic. These are going to be perfect Christmas wreath treats. All right, with that done, we can go ahead and turn off our stove. We're going to remove this from the heat, and I'm going to move my additional things. We won't need that anymore. I'm going to move my food coloring and my vanilla out of the way. Now, remember earlier, we had our frosted flakes. We smashed them in our plastic bag. Now is the time to add the frosted flakes. And it's just one big drop. Just take the entire 4 cups of those frosted flakes and pour them right into that vanilla, that marshmallow mixture. And just mix it all completely. You want to make sure that every single flake is coated. And because we blended it perfectly, oh yeah, that's it. It's creamy. And that looks fantastic. Can you see how perfectly that's coming together? Wow. All right, so we're going to keep mixing because I still see 1 or 2 little flakes that need a little marshmallow coating. That's looking good. Now, you want to continue to mix it. It'll stay warm for a good amount of time, and you want it warm because if it's warm, it'll be easy to work with. Because now we're at the stage where we're just about ready to begin preparing to make our wreaths. All right, it looks like, oh, I think we're there. It looks like I have mixed everything completely. I think, oh, maybe just one more turn, and I think every single flake is coated. All right, now that we have our mixture ready, what we're going to do is we're going to take our spoon, about a tablespoon size is a good rule of thumb, and we're going to get ready to drop our mixture to begin to make our wreaths. And let me set myself up so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So I've got all of my mixture. Here's another tip. Good idea to keep a bowl of water on hand, and remember that stick of butter we used earlier to butter our wax paper so that our treats don't stick. keep that because that'll keep your fingers from sticking too. You put a little butter on your fingers as you shape these, and you don't have to worry about them sticking. So a couple of tips. All right, so one final stir, and I think we're ready to start making our wreaths. Now what you're going to do, and let me do this, I'll start with a little butter on my hands. Our hands were clean to start with, so we're in good shape. Little butter on my hands, a little butter on my fingers, and that's going to keep anything from sticking as I shape these. I'm going to take a nice rounded tablespoonful size, about like so. Now, what I'm going to do is just scoop it right onto my wax paper. Doesn't look like much now, but I promise you, it's going to look like something fantastic shortly. So just nice, round, tablespoon size scoops. Just drop them. At this point, you don't have to worry about how pretty they are. You just get the size that you want and get them onto that wax paper covered cookie sheet. And if you need a little more butter on your fingers because things are sticking to you, that's okay. If you need to use that water to kind of clean your fingers up and then start again, that's okay too. This is why I said this is one of those recipes that the kids will love to help with because let's face it, the stickier, the messier, the better the kids love it. So get them in the kitchen and let them help. Let them help shape the wreaths. Okay, let's do one more, maybe two. And right now, all we're doing, these are just globs, if you will. Globs of goodness. Yeah, that looks yummy. Kind of sticky. So I think, you know what? I think I need a little water. And all you do is just rinse your hands off. Take a little towel, paper towel, whatever you want to use. Do a little more butter. Just like that. Now I'm ready to we'll do one more for good measure. All right. Nice rounded tablespoon size scoop. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, Leah, how on earth are you going to transform those blobs into Christmas wreaths? Well, let's do that next. All right, gonna rinse my fingers one more time. Gonna get myself set. Now remember earlier, I said that what we need to have are little red cinnamon candies. We're gonna take some of these, and I like to make it easy on myself, I like to just take them and spread them out on the counter so that I'm just ready to pick them up as I decorate my wreaths. Now, you can do a couple of things. I could use the spoon that I was mixing my marshmallow mixture. If you have skewers at home, if you have chopsticks at home, anything that you can create a circle in the middle of this blob will work. What you want to do with whatever you're using, whether it's the tip of a wooden spoon or whether it's a skewer like I'm using, you want to just take it and just put a little butter on the tip. That's going to keep these from sticking. So I'm going to use a skewer, just the end of a skewer. I'm going to take the end of the skewer that I've now buttered, and I'm going to go into the center of my blob, and basically all I'm doing is just kind of creating a circular motion, kind of burrowing in the center there. See where I'm going with this? Yep. Now that blob is transforming itself into a Christmas wreath. It could not be easier, but it's so delicious and so fun, and everybody that you give one of these treats to is going to say, what an adorable idea. How on earth did you make those? And you can tell them how easy it is. All right, so I'm just taking, and again, if you need a little more butter on the end of that spoon or on the end of that skewer, you just use as much as you need. And just go into the middle. All you're doing is just kind of go in a circular motion, just creating that hole in the center of the wreath. Kind of like the wreaths we all love from Valerie. You know what? I'll have to make these for my friend Valerie and give them to her. She'll appreciate that. Okay, we've got two more, and then we're going to put on our finishing touch. This one. Still got a little butter there on the end of my skewer, so it's working pretty well. Not too sticky. Perfect. And our final one we're going to do right here. Now, this will make approximately depending upon the size. I like to make a bigger wreath. You can do larger or smaller wreaths, anywhere from 2 to 3 dozen of the little wreath treats, depending upon the size that you make. I like to go bigger, so I usually get about 2 dozen. But if you want to make them smaller, make them go a little further, you can get about 3 dozen from this recipe. And if you want to double it up, you certainly can. Okay, I've shaped all of my wreaths. Now, here's the finishing touch. And I like to use 5. I don't know, something about 5 of my little cinnamon candies on my wreath just gives it the perfect finishing touch. So you take your little cinnamon candy, and you want to do these while these are still warm and somewhat pliable, if you will. In other words, they'll be easy to position into the wreath while the mixture is still slightly warm. Look at that. So 5 candies is the perfect way to add beautiful decoration to our Christmas wreath treat. Isn't that the cutest thing? Now imagine if you do a cookie swap, if you do a potluck, if you do a social with perhaps your community group or your church group or your neighborhood gets together for holiday parties and celebrations, and you know everybody is supposed to bring a little something, and you're thinking, oh, who's got the time, who's got the inclination, what am I going to take, I don't know how to make anything. This could not be easier. I'll tell you, if anything, I love a shortcut, and this is a great way to get big bang with shortcut effort. My last little, there we are. Now let me finish our final one. There's one. And as I said, I think 5 is the perfect number, but you put as many as you like to have. 3. There. 4. And 5. Now, what you're going to do is let these sit. And the best recommendation I have is to let them sit at least 2 to 3 hours. That really allows the marshmallow mixture to cool. It allows everything to set perfectly so that when you're ready to serve them, and let me just show you here. Here's what we've completed. And if you're perhaps taking them as a gift or going to put them out for everybody to enjoy, you can just put them on a cookie plate, you can put them on a tray, you can do something with a little doily, maybe put an ornament or two, and everyone thinks you are fantastic. These are my Christmas wreath treats. I hope you'll try this recipe, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday season.
To view this recipe and others you've seen today, log on to QVC.com. In the cooking section, you'll find many of the products used to create these holiday treats as well.